probably dreamed of meeting someone who inspires us, whether that's a famous actor, the founder of an organization, or anything in between. For anyone, the thought of standing next to that person interacting with them is intriguing and exciting. On September 13, 2010, I met someone who inspires me, Blake Mikowski, the founder of Tom's Shoes. Blake Mikowski and his efforts with the Tom's movement have shaped my values by influencing me to have compassion for those who are in need, as well as encouraging me to make a difference by taking action. I'll begin by telling you a little about the origin of Tom's movement and the way it helps to instill compassion in me. In 2006, Blake went on a trip to Argentina. While he was there, he realized that all these children were in need of shoes. And shoes may not seem like an important thing whenever there's hunger and thirst and all in the world, but to him, shoes were a big deal because without shoes, these kids couldn't go to school. And without going to school, they couldn't grow up to get a job. And so they really were stopped in their childhood from ever having a future. And so whenever Blake saw these kids, he had compassion on them. I think that Blake's compassion really mirrors my compassion and the values I've grown up with. As a follower of Christ, the first thing I thought of when thinking of Blake's compassion is the story of the Good Samaritan in the Bible. This story, there's a man that gets beaten and left on the side of the road, and many people pass by him, including priests and Levites, and just don't do anything to help him. And then a Samaritan walks by. And when the Samaritan walks by, he goes over to him, and the Bible says he takes pity on him. I believe this is what God calls us to do every time we see someone that's in need. I believe that Blake and my values match the Good Samaritans, and that's why I really enjoy the Tom's movement. Blake's story doesn't just end there, though, and neither does the story of the Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan then took action after having compassion on this man on the side of the road. And he bandaged him and took him to a hotel and took care of him so that he could move on. Jesus said to go and do likewise. I believe that Blake and his efforts with the Tom's movement show that he went and did likewise. During that year, after he went to Argentina, he went and dropped 10,000 shoes to children there and started the one-for-one movement. The Tom's movement is where people buy shoes here, and for every pair you buy, they give a pair to a child in need in other countries. I love this movement because I feel like every time I'm purchasing a pair of Tom's, I'm instilling that compassion in other people, and I'm spreading the movement and encouraging them to take action as well. Every time I look down at my shoes, I can see that child who I'm giving shoes to. All in all, the one-for-one movement continues to strengthen my values each day as it makes a difference through consumer purchases, including my own. In conclusion, Tom's has helped shape my values by instilling compassion in me and by influencing me to take action, whether that is by buying a pair of Tom's or just helping someone in need around me. This movement is just an outward sign of one of the many values that I have inside. The origin of the movement aligned with my values and put into action is something I cherish every time I look down at my pair of shoes and think of the child on the other end. As Whitney Mikowski once said in a video to inspire young people wanting to make a difference, and a statement that I firmly believe, the more you give, the more you live.